Hello Libra, and welcome to your April 2019 general read. I'm Jade with yesYesYes. Welcome back to the channel. If you're brand new, welcome to my channel. Forgive me, I'm having a hair day, so I thought I would do this like wear the robe and put the hair up, but I did get on some lipstick for you, so I hope you appreciate that. All right, let's get started. So this is based on the yearlies that were done, and I'll put a link to that in the box below, as well as for my website if you're interested in having your own reading. I want to start with the mystical shaman oracle, and your card this year is the drum. So we're talking about the heartbeat, right? It's being really centered, really grounded, and feeling the connection, not only with Mother Earth, but like to yourself and your divine inner needs. So beating, and that, you know, you also have that following the beat of your own drum. So also like leading and making a path for yourself that's different than perhaps what you have done in the past or what people expected of you. So this is the overall energy from the year. So I bring that up every month. So we'll see how that plays out for you beating your own drum. And then for this month, for April, we have the Knight of Wands in the Line Strider deck, and that was clarified by the tree in the Lenormand deck. The Knight of Wands, and again, this is general, it's a creative, passion, action-oriented energy that wants to get going. And I feel like this is your energy this month, in that, you know, especially here in the Northern Hemisphere, we might have felt contained and just kind of waiting. And even with Mercury retrograde, no matter where you are in the world, we've had to reflect and we've had to look back and decide how to move forward. So it's one of those 2 steps back and then moving forward from there. So I think at this point in April, because Mercury is now going direct, you're really starting to feel like it's time to move forward. And you have a clearer idea of, I think you're more in alignment with your passion, whatever that might be. If it is according to work, if you're doing a passionate job, you know, something that you feel passionate about, then this is a job prospect, something where, you know, you're very much aligned with what you're bringing into the world in terms of your job. If your passion is your family, which it's kind of clarified by something about legacy, something about family, even about health-oriented things. So perhaps if you work in the health industry, that's your passion. So what I'm feeling is that you've gotten really clear on what you're wanting to do next, right? So if it is with your family, you've made a choice, you've decided, for the longevity of the family, we need to make this change in order for this to work. So that could be with your relationship with your spouse, could be your relationship with your kids, could be your relationship with your parents. So there's something about either family, your legacy in the world, or a health routine. So that would be the other thing. If you, and this is where I'm at, I'm not a Libra, but this is where I'm at, is, you know, I've had my lazy time of the winter, and now I'm ready to start getting healthy, to get back into that daily routine of, you know, feeling my body and getting strong. So that could be where we're at this month, which is great energy to be in, Libra, okay? So let's see what else is coming up. I'm using the Klimt Tarot to do the past, present, future spread. Everything has been pre-shuffled, so I'll give a few more while I'm thinking of you, Libra, for April 2019 for Libra. What's been going on for Libra in the past, just in the near past for Libra? I had some cards jump in the pre-shuffle, not so much anymore, which is good. The Mercury retrograde was really fun. It's always fun to read during Mercury retrogrades because, you know, it throws us all off balance, and it's kind of it's interesting to try to pull in all of the information, so the readings can be more scattered because we all are more scattered. Okay, so for the past, we've had a coming to a completion, which is great. We're ready to move on to the next level. We have the World card. It came up in the upright, which is great. So there's definitely a cycle that's coming to an end or has come to an end, and you're really feeling more expansive because of it. That's what I look at as the next level card, right? So it's not like we're going to redo everything. We don't look at things karmically and say, I really want to go back to that. I really want to go back and do that the same way all over again. We never ever feel that way. We always want to do it differently. So even if it is returning, you know, lover returning or whatever, if we do have that that redo, which I'm not saying that's what this is, but the next cycle will be something different. What I'm feeling here is that in the past you've collapsed in a cycle. It's done. You've completed a cycle and now you're ready to move forward in a new way, and it's expansive, it's exciting. Sometimes there's travel involved, so we'll see. And it could just be travel outside of yourself in a different way. Okay. We also have the Seven of Pentacles that came out in the in the reverse. So what that means is that you've been trying to plant some seeds, and you might have planted the seeds, but you're waiting for them to grow. Really wanting them to turn into something, and they just haven't. And what I feel like is that you are kind of moving. It's the, you know, you put all your eggs in one basket. Well, now you're seeing, well, that's not working for me. So now you're starting to spread those eggs out, even removing them from that original basket. So if you thought you put all of your bets on, you know, that one person, and they didn't turn out to be who you wanted them to be, instead of allowing them more time to figure it out, I think you might even just be removing your energy completely and moving on in a different way. If it's not a relationship, and we are talking family, or we're talking legacy, or we're talking health, then what you've done in the past in planting the seeds, trying new ventures, you know, maybe going to family therapy, those types of things, realizing that the way in which you did them, it wasn't quite building, like you weren't getting enough momentum, so you've moved your energy on to something new. That's where I'm feeling. We'll see more on where we're at in the present. I also am seeing the Ten of Cups in reverse, and so that's why I'm feeling maybe we're talking about a family situation, because we might have been working on trying to build a family. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just a relationship. I could be talking about children here, or extended family. So really trying to get a family settled and feeling secure. So maybe there was a move in the past, and that move, you know, could have been connected to a new job, and it just wasn't quite working. Things just weren't clicking. Maybe the schools weren't quite right. Something about in the past where there was a promise, there was a hope for an emotional, deep enjoyment of life that just didn't come to fruition. It was something that you were really hoping for and you were working on. So I am seeing that, but it didn't come to fruition. What did come to fruition in the past, however, is that you saw that as a cycle that had to end. You were kind of done spinning your wheels, which is great, okay? So let's see. And again, these are general readings. I hope that goes without saying, and that if it works for you, if it makes sense for you, and if I'm not speaking specifically to your situation, but yet you can apply it, please apply it. And if not, just leave it, and maybe there's another video that would work for you. So we're reading, and sometimes we just pick up on very specific energies. For the present, I've got that you're kind of up in your head, maybe worried about what to do next, because we're making great changes from the past. We're really ready to move on. So we're kind of up in our heads, but the truth of the matter is, you might feel the stagnation, feeling a little, you know, tossing and turning about it, but at any moment you can just stop. It's up to you to decide that everything is going to work out. Everything's going to turn out the way that it will. You have done your best, you have worked your hardest, and really you don't need to do anything more except for release yourself from the worry, okay? Release yourself from the anxiety of needing to manifest it, because it's already working. It's already going in that route. Even though in the past you didn't necessarily see it, I think that we have to surrender to the process that the universe is kind of going to take over at a certain point. There also could just be this feeling of stagnation, because you want to make these big changes and they just haven't quite come through. And so I think there's there's this desire to do, but the need to release. I hope that makes sense. I've got King of Pentacles here as well. So we're talking about really the desire to have something very stable, long-term, and supportive. But there's also like a grumpiness sometimes with the King of Pentacles. And he's very wise, and he has built a very solid kingdom. So if this is family, if this is work, whatever this passion thing is, you've built it as solidly as you can. This is why the tea is here. Excuse me. So you've built it as solidly as you can, but there's also a loneliness in that. And I'm feeling that from that initial card too, with the Eight of Swords, feeling like you're kind of stagnated. You might have built a wall around you, okay? And it's not like a wall around your heart. I think that it's that you're trying to make life so stable, you're trying to adult so much that you've made yourself not, maybe you haven't been thinking about passion for a while, that's all. Maybe you haven't been feeling through things, just doing. And I feel like what the cards are calling for right now is that you bring this wholeness back to yourself. You bring your emotions and your heart back into this process of, you have to feel the release and also feel the enjoyment of doing, knowing that eventually something's going to turn out. We got the Ten of Swords here too, so there's a lot of struggle, a lot of challenge right now, and I feel like it's all mental. And you are a mental sign, you are an air sign. So in a way, this is your power. If you think about it, when the swords come up, these are your power. So if you can take that energy and turn it to work for you in life, then that's the best way to do it. So if you can take the energy of the Eight and the Ten of Swords, where it's as if you have just been, things have come at you so much so that you have to grow through that adversity, then that's the way to do so. And if you have built yourself a kingdom or a castle where the walls are very high and you can't quite get to your passion, if you're feeling joyless, it's because you've kind of removed yourself from your joy. So, and again, this passion, we're starting to open back to that. So I think that that's really what's going to pull you back out, is that you're going to see, oh, I really want to feel really good in my body. Oh, I really want to connect more with my children or my parents. And if it's, legacy, I really want to make a difference in the world. So I think that the long-term goal is what's going to pull you back out of that, that mental head trauma. I mean, it's head trauma drama, I guess. It's the going over and over the cycles of digging yourself in deeper, and trying to make sense of what's going on or what has happened in the past. Maybe we just leave the past in the past. The Five of Wands also wanted to come out, which it's that struggle card. So I think that once you identify what you're struggling with, okay, and decide to put the wands, the swords, all of the things that you're struggling with. So put the emotion, bring the emotion forward, and put the mental deciphering, like the over analyzing, put that stuff down. Put the physical decision to defend yourself, you know what I mean? Like that feeling of being defensive, we have to put that down. We have to relax and surrender. That's what the cards in the present are calling for, is just a surrendering and a feeling back into your heart. Okay? This is, again, very general here, but I'm trying to connect it specifically to those three issues. If your issue is something else, by all means, again, connect it for me. Because it's hard to read multiple people in one reading. Let's see what else we have for the future coming up for Libra in April 2019. I know you guys have been going through a lot. You've had, I've got two, okay. Ooh, this is good, this is good. So I know that you've had a lot. We just had a full moon in Libra. We've got another one coming up. And what this is the revelation, right? So you had a little bit of a reveal, like the burlesque baby reveal, and then you're gonna have the big reveal again, okay? So just keep in mind that we're all still in process, and it doesn't mean that you have to pop your head up out of the sand all of a sudden. It may take some time, okay? But if you get clear with what you want to move towards, then I think that everything else will slowly fall away. All the confusion and the drama will slowly fall away. What's coming up is a transformation, and this is great. Now, in the future, you are being, and we have, Scorpio as well as the Pisces card. So you might have some of that energy coming through, which is Scorpio's deep transformation. It's also the ability to go deep into the emotional aspect and bring that back out, come out to the other side, okay? So that's exactly what the present time is what you're being called to do, is to go into your emotions. So in the future, it looks as if you are in fact doing that, and that's what's gonna come out possibly for this next full moon that's in Libra, is that something deep, some deep emotional element of yourself will come to light. And with the moon being here, it's connected to your intuition, and also it might be, this is very common, especially with full moons, is that we see things that were not clear before. So it might be something is coming, there's a big revelation that comes up later on in April. Making sure that you're looking at it straight at it, for exactly what it is, rather than the illusionary aspect of the moon. So I just like to talk about that as well. But we do have the wish card ultimately here. So I like that we're moving towards that, and that the wish card, why do we call it the wish card? So it's almost the end of the cycle, right? You actually had the 10 and the 9, it's just the 10 was in the reverse in the past. So we built back up all of the, we've gone through all of the emotional elements. It looks like you might be taking quite an emotional journey here in April, where you're going through all the stages, because you end the 10 to get back to the 9, okay? So you've gone through all of the stages where something has begun. You saw a mirroring or a partnership aspect, or a choice that needed to be made. You took action. Emotionally, and I'm talking all emotions here. So you took action, or you created something that that was emotionally satisfying. It felt stable. There was sometimes there's a feeling where you're not quite sure if it is stable, if you created it solidly or not. But if it was, then it's something that you can look back on and feel good about. And when sorry, I'm getting up to the I'm getting up to the 7s, and the 7s get confusing for me. So, and it's because I resist. Breathing through, Jade. So when we get to the 7s and the 8s, it's where it's the feeling of wanting to feel contentment, and realizing what we truly need, and being willing to let things go that we don't need, to move towards exactly what we always wanted and what we do know that's good for us, which is the 9. So I just did this whole, I don't know if you know the cards, but that's the whole cycle of the cups, in that you go from beginning to the 9, and the 9 is almost the culmination, but there's lots of hard work that's been done, and you just start to get the sweetness of the reward. That's what the 9 of Cups really is. So you've done this sweetness because you're enjoying the sweetness because you've done the work, and that's what's coming up for you. This is great news, Libra, because you're doing the emotional work that's coming through this month. And again, this emotional work may be brought up by your need to leave a legacy, some type of family issue, or perhaps maybe it's even like body consciousness, right? So those are the issues that are coming up. It could be other issues for you, but that's what at least I'm reading towards. And then we had another card, the King of Water, came out in the reverse. And what this is telling me is, in order to continue on this path of feeling emotionally like you're getting the sweetness, you're emotionally rewarded. That's the word. Make sure that you're maintaining your compassion for others as well as yourself. Okay, remain soft and loving and giving. Okay, the kings can sometimes hold themselves back and sit back in their thrones and not give. They just reside. So what the reverse is telling me is to make sure that you're active in giving. And that could be the passion part, okay? So this is a really interesting month for you, Libra, because you're being guided to release your mental, the mental stress that you might have been going through, okay? The struggle that you've been going through mentally in the past in trying to create something. You have to let that go. Whatever that dream was, if it hasn't come to pass, let's not concentrate on it anymore. It's time to concentrate on you, in your heart, in feeling good. And if that has to do with a passion project and leaving your legacy in the world, if it has to do with your family or yourself in relationship, or if it has to do with your physical nature, like your personal body in space, in time, then those are the things to really focus on this month. If you're doing so, then there's going to be a great transformation. It's going to reveal something to you later on in the month, especially through the full moon, and that revelation will come where it's going to be a deep, I think it's like a deep truth, a deep emotional truth that is surprising and shocking and could bring you some beautiful rewards, okay? So that's what I have for you, Libra. I'd love to hear your comments about this one. It's very interesting. I'm actually quite looking forward to this one for you. So yeah, and drop a comment or hit that like button if you're feeling it. And for now, I'll send you all my love.